Freeze for a moment. Now imagine this. You sit down on your couch after a long day. You grab the remote. You hit play. And suddenly, something feels different. The picture looks cleaner. The color looks richer. The motion looks smoother. Voices sound sharper. Everything feels faster and more alive than before. Almost like you upgraded your entire TV, not just a small black box under it. Now here's the big question everyone is asking right now. Does the Apple TV 4K 2025 actually create that feeling? Or is it just the 2022 model with a new name and a shiny new year attached? Today, we're going to break everything down so clearly and simply that by the end, you'll know, without doubt, if upgrading is worth your money or a complete waste. No fluff, no hype, just the truth that matters inside your living room. Before we go deep, keep one thing in your mind. Why are you even thinking about upgrading? Be honest with yourself. Is it the picture quality, the speed, the audio clarity, the gaming performance, the remote, the smart home features, or just fear of missing out? Keep that reason in your head, because I will answer it directly. And because by the end of this video, you're going to get one simple Apple TV setting that instantly makes your TV look more expensive without spending a single dollar. It's a tiny change most people never touch, and it fixes the biggest picture quality mistake Apple TV owners make. That alone might save you from buying a new box. Now let's set the baseline that most people forget. The Apple TV 4K from 2022 is already excellent. And I do mean excellent. It plays 4K with Dolby Vision and HDR10+. It supports Dolby Atmos. It uses the A15 Bionic chip, which is still fast in 2025. It is whisper quiet, super smooth, and runs tvOS, the software that keeps getting real updates every year. The 2022 Siri remote with USB-C is solid. And tvOS updates since 2022 have added real improvements like multi-view for sports, FaceTime on your TV using your iPhone, clearer dialogue processing, better subtitles, and new screensavers. Many of the new features you heard about in the last 2 years, your 2022 model already has them. That's important because most people think they must buy a new box to get new features. You don't. So what exactly is the Apple TV 4K 2025? Depending on when you're watching this, the 2025 refresh comes in two possible shapes. One version keeps the same design, but adds a new chip and newer wireless radios. The other version, the bigger jump, adds meaningful new capabilities. But none of that matters until you ask the only question that actually matters. Does anything in the 2025 model change how things look, sound, or feel from your couch? So let's talk about the visuals, because what your eyes see is the first thing that makes something feel new. There are 3 upgrades that would make the 2025 model worth the money. First is true 120Hz output. Imaginez motor menus. Cleaner motion. Better camera pans in sports. If Apple fully enables 120Hz with proper frame matching or VRR for games, you will see the difference, especially during fast sports like NBA, NHL, Formula 1, or when playing games. Most movies are 24 frames per second, and 120Hz multiplies that cleanly into buttery motion. But here's the catch. If the 2025 model doesn't actually output 120Hz for your content, or if your TV doesn't support 120Hz, then you will see no difference at all. This is a deal breaker for many people. New hardware does not matter if your TV cannot use it. The second upgrade is native AV1 decoding. If the 2025 model includes hardware AV1, your streaming improves instantly without touching a thing. YouTube, Netflix, and many services use AV1 because it produces cleaner video with fewer artifacts at the same internet speed. That means fewer blocky shadows, cleaner edges, better picture during nighttime scenes. If the 2025 model has AV1 decoding, your picture simply looks better. If it doesn't, then your 2022 box already performs the same. The third upgrade is niche, but important for projector lovers and cinephiles with 21:9 ultrawide screens. tvOS has been improving support for wider aspect ratios. The 2022 model already benefits from the software updates. But if the 2025 version adds tighter integration for 21:9 or more flexible frame matching, that's a win if your setup needs it. On a normal 16:9 TV, this does nothing. Now let's talk sound. Can you actually hear a difference? If you're using basic TV speakers, not much will change between 2022 and 2025. If you have a soundbar or an AV receiver with Dolby Atmos, both devices handle Atmos beautifully. But if Apple improves dialogue clarity or enhances HDMI eARC stability in the 2025 model, that could be felt in noisy living rooms. Clearer voices, stronger bass without distortion, easier late-night viewing. But again, many of Apple's audio improvements arrive through software, not hardware. So unless your home theater setup uses a feature only the 2025 box supports, audio alone rarely justifies upgrading. Now what about speed? The 2022 box is fast. It opens apps quickly. Switching apps is smooth. Scrubbing through a movie timeline is instant. So what does a newer chip in 2025 actually do? It might shave off a second. It might keep the box feeling fast for longer over the next few years. And it will help with gaming and future codecs like AV1. But here's the truth. If your current 2022 box isn't slow, then upgrading won't transform anything. Fast versus Fast Plus does not feel different when you're scrolling Netflix. Let's talk networking. The 2022 box has Wi-Fi 6. The Ethernet version adds a wired port and thread support for smart home gear. If the 2025 box adds Wi-Fi 6E or Wi-Fi 7, that only matters if your router also supports it. If you live in a crowded apartment or a multi-story home full of walls where you stream games from your PC using Steam Link, then better Wi-Fi might help. But for most people, Ethernet still wins every time. If your 4K sports streams buffer, a wired connection fixes that instantly, no matter which year your Apple TV is from. So upgrading your router or running a cable might improve your experience more than buying a new Apple TV. Smart home features also matter to many people. The 2022 Ethernet model acts as a thread border router, which is a big deal for Matter and Thread smart homes. If 2025 adds Thread to all models or improves reliability, it's helpful but not groundbreaking, unless you're building a huge connected home. The real upgrade would be if the 2025 model replaces another smart home hub you own. Simpler is better. But most people using HomeKit will feel no difference day to day. Now, let's talk about something people underestimate: the remote. If Apple gives the 2025 model a backlit remote or a Find My Remote feature, that alone is a real upgrade. Most families interact with the remote more than the box. Losing the remote drives people crazy. If the new remote solves that, it could be enough to justify an upgrade. But if the remote is basically the same, then there's no reason to replace your 2022 version. Some rumors mention an Apple TV with a built-in camera. If that happens, big screen FaceTime becomes extremely simple. But right now, the 2022 and 2025 boxes already let you use your iPhone as a camera, and it works surprisingly well. So unless built-in hardware appears, this isn't a selling point. Now let's talk about the one picture setting I mentioned at the beginning, the one that instantly improves your image. On your Apple TV, set your video format to 4K SDR, not HDR. Then turn on Match Dynamic Range and Match Frame Rate. This stops the Apple TV from forcing everything into fake HDR and fake 60 frames per second. When real HDR movies play, the box will switch automatically. When real 24-frame content plays, it will match correctly. Skin tones look real. Motion looks cinematic when needed. Sports look smooth when needed. This one change makes a bigger difference than buying new hardware. Many people never touch these settings and think their Apple TV is bad. But it's not the hardware, it's the output mode. Before we decide whether upgrading is worth it, let's talk about different types of viewers. If you mainly watch movies and shows at night on Netflix, Apple TV Plus, Disney Plus, or Prime Video, then your 2022 box is already great. If your new TV supports 120 Hz and Apple actually enables it on the 2025 model, then maybe the upgrade matters. Same for AV1. But if not, save your money. A better soundbar or professional calibration will make a bigger difference. If you're a sports household watching NFL, NBA, NHL, MLB, or MLS, then two things matter most: Ethernet and match frame rate. If your 2025 model doesn't add Ethernet to the configuration you already own, you won't buffer less. If it adds 120 Hz menus and your TV supports it, you might notice smoother movement. But most sports streams are still 60 frames. New Wi-Fi might help if your network is congested, but upgrading your router might do even more. If you game on your Apple TV, whether through Apple Arcade or streaming PC games using Steam Link, then the 2025 model could matter. A newer chip, Wi-Fi 6E or 7, and potential 120 Hz output can lower latency, but only if your router and TV support these features. Otherwise, stick with the 2022 box and improve your network first. If you live in the Apple smart home ecosystem, your 2022 Ethernet model already acts as a thread border router. If the 2025 version brings big reliability improvements, maybe it's worth it. But if not, you're fine. If you hate the remote and the 2025 version finally includes backlit buttons or a Find My Remote feature, that alone could justify upgrading. If it doesn't, buy a glow-in-the-dark silicone sleeve on Amazon for a few dollars. Now remember, tvOS itself has already changed your Apple TV since 2022. Multi-view for sports, better subtitles, FaceTime on your TV, Almost to Dialogue, richer screensavers. All of these work on 2022. Apple doesn't lock new features behind new hardware the way some companies do. They support their boxes for many years. So if your 2022 box runs the latest tvOS, it already has most new features. Let me give you 3 quick picture checks to ensure your Apple TV looks its best. First, the SDR default with match dynamic range and match frame rate. Second, make sure your TV has Dolby Vision enabled correctly, and make sure your TV is not forcing HDR at all times. Many TVs do this and ruin SDR content. Third, check your HDMI input on the TV and make sure it's set to enhanced mode or 4K HDR mode with a certified cable. If your picture looks washed out or weird, this is usually the reason, not the Apple TV. Now let's cover audio quickly. If voices are hard to hear, enable enhanced dialogue. If you have a soundbar with Dolby Atmos, set your audio format to auto so Atmos activates correctly. If late night watching is a problem, enable the reduce loud sounds option, but know it compresses the dynamic range. If you have HomePods, set them as the default audio output. And if you have a newer TV, you can enable eARC pass-through so game consoles and other inputs play through your HomePods. If the 2025 model improves eARC stability, that is a quiet but meaningful upgrade. Here are a few myths that cost people money. Myth 1. A new chip improves picture quality. Not true. Streaming quality depends on your TV, your internet connection, and the app delivering the stream. Myth 2. Leave your Apple TV in 4K HDR mode for everything. Also wrong. That forces fake HDR and makes SDR look wrong. Myth 3. The Apple TV is slow, so you need to upgrade. Maybe, but often you just need to restart the device or update tvOS. Myth 4. All Wi-Fi is the same. Far from it. Streaming sports and games requires stable bandwidth, not just fast speeds. A cable to your Apple TV often fixes everything. Now let's talk about mini wins. Color balance using your iPhone. Subtitles that auto-appear when you mute or rewind. Multi-view for sports. These are small but powerful features that make your experience feel upgraded even on old hardware. So where does all this leave us regarding the 2025 versus 2022 decision? It comes down to one question. Does the 2025 model offer one real-world improvement you will use every single week? If yes, upgrade. If not, your money is safer in your pocket. Weekly use upgrades include 120 Hz output your TV supports, AV1 decoding for cleaner YouTube and Netflix, a backlit, findable remote, Wi-Fi 6E or 7 that your router supports, better eARC behavior if you use HomePods. If one of these matters to you often, then the 2025 model is worth it. If none matter, stick with the 2022. Now let's wrap this with your promised 30-second guide. Think about your Apple TV 2022. Does it feel slow, buggy, or unreliable, even after restarting? If yes, 2025 makes sense. Does the 2025 model offer a weekly feature you will actually use? If yes, upgrade. If not, can you add Ethernet or change your SDR and match range settings? If yes, try that first. If not, and you still want a new box, wait for a sale or grab the discounted 2022 Ethernet model. In many cases, that is the smartest choice. Because here is the honest bottom line. The Apple TV experience is about the feeling on your couch, not the numbers on a spec sheet. The 2022 Apple TV 4K already nails the basics: fast, accurate, reliable, and smooth. The 2025 model is worth it only when it brings something you can actually see, hear, or feel. If it does, go for it. If it doesn't, enjoy the money you saved and enjoy a better picture tonight with the settings you just fixed. If you liked the video, subscribe, share the video, and hit the bell icon.